Once was a land of woe and strife, where the people were bereft of hope. They prayed to their gods of might and light to deliver the heroes of old. Instead they got heroes. Did you hear the quotes in my voice of moral ambiguity? They may help or may not help you at all. Depends on what's in it for them. They kick and they punch and they maul and they smash. They lie and they scheme and they burn and they slash. Succeed or fail, it adds to the tale. Dungeons and Debacle starts now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. I am your host and dungeon master. Going around the table, John.
Hello, I play Alunodas, the hero.
Not sure that's 100% correct, but we'll roll with it. And Blake.
I'm Blake, and I'll be playing Juliet, the eldritch knight / wizard Dragonborn.
And Hero. And Hannah.
I'm Hannah, and I'll be playing Talia, the human rogue. Also, not a hero, very much a villain. Embraces the shit out of that.
And Shane.
I am Shane playing Alexander, the human bard.
Alright, so last time on Dungeons and Debacles podcast, you had made it out of the mountains and into Hill Plain on your way to Feydale. You were accosted by some gnolls, which you dispatched fairly quickly. You took a rest and identified some of the items that you had gotten in previous encounters. And that's where you find yourselves now. You rest through the night, and you've probably got another half day to make it to the river, as far as you can tell.
I think we should head toward the river.
Should we rest first, though? I don't know who... Did we just rest? I thought we just got attacked by gnolls.
Well, I'm assuming, like, when you were identifying all that, you guys were taking a rest. I don't know if you wanted to take a short rest or a long rest. Because you were doing those identifies as rituals?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should take a short rest then. We could take a long rest, but I feel like tarrying is not a good idea when we might be being pursued.
So, we'll say that, like, when you were attacked by the gnolls, that was probably about midday. So, you are probably 5 or 6 hours into your day after breaking camp and traveling.
Okay, sounds good. So I guess we're going to continue making our way to the river. It seems like there's a lot of forest on the way, is that correct?
Right now you are in this big open plain of grassland. The grass comes up to probably about your waist and chest. Talia, it would definitely be coming up to her chest. That's why you had some trouble spotting the gnolls.
Okay, I was thrown off by
I prefer to imagine her little bat ears just barely poking above grass.
Alright, so you find yourselves in this big open plain. You've got these tall pine trees to the southwest and the northeast of you. The plain itself here probably goes on for, you think, maybe from side to side, maybe 5 miles or so.
That is a pretty wide area, and we still have a long way to go with gnolls. Maybe we should go to the edge of the forest and then continue on our way?
Yeah, gnolls aren't really a big deal, right? Maybe we just put their heads on spikes, and that'll scare the rest of them away.
Knife was going to say, gnolls are evil and stupid. They travel in small packs. I don't know that would be any other gnolls around right now.
That's good to know. Yeah, I guess in that case, then we should just continue on. How's Abbott doing in the tall grass, by the way?
I'm assuming he's probably in the cart.
Yeah, he can be in the cart or bounding along, just having a blast, but my guess is that we would have put him in the cart.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're on your horses, and, you know, on the horses, the grass here is probably, maybe, brushing your ankles. So you think these gnolls probably saw you coming and then got down in the grass and ambushed you.
Foolish gnolls.
Dead gnolls. Let's just make our way to the river.
So you are going to travel for probably about another 4 hours or so, and then you are going to see these tall pine trees in the distance approaching you. As you make your way to the river, you are able to make these trees by sunset, and judging from the maps you've seen, you've probably just got another maybe 4 or 5 hours before you reach the river.
And is it getting dark?
By the time you hit the trees, it is.
Okay, then maybe we should rest here, guys, and we'll continue on tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
Also, we have to figure out, are we heading to Fairish for a boat? Because I don't think the cart is, we're going to be able to caulk the boat and the wagon and float it across.
I was thinking we'd head downriver, and if we can't thumb a ride, then we'll just make our way down to Fairish, yeah.
Okay.
Everybody give me a history check. Actually, I think I had you do this last episode, but I can't remember the results of it.
I'm not even going to bother making a history check. You guys got this covered.
So that's a 21 and a 23 from Alunodas and Alexander. You would know that they are some small fishing hamlets along the river here. You know they have boats. You don't know how big they may be. You don't know if there's like any sort of ferrying service across the river. But you do know that there are spotted hamlets all along probably this river shore that people there make their living on the river.
All we need is a boat big enough to handle the horses and the cart.
Yeah, if they don't
And
have
someone
anything they can
hold.
carry us, we can just go further down and ask the people to see if they know of any ferry services.
Yep.
All right, so you're camping for the night?
Yep.
Okay, so you sleep through the night. You're going to hear various wild animals out in the woods. You hear an occasional wolf, but the night goes pretty uneventful. You wake up the next morning refreshed and ready for the next day.
Cool.
Excellent. We make our way to the edge of the river then, and I guess we'll take stock of what the river looks like, what's around it, and then we'll head southwest and try and find a boat somewhere.
All right, so you're going to travel maybe about 4 hours through these woods, and you're going to hit the river around 11 a.m. that morning. The river here is moving pretty quickly. You can see some fish jumping out of it. You look around, you don't really see anybody on the river as far as boats are concerned. The shore here is rocky, and there's only probably about maybe 50 feet from the shore to the tree line. You go up and fill your water skins, and the one thing that you notice about the water is it is freezing cold. You know, the morning was a little chilly here, but it's warmed up during the day. But the water feels much colder than it should be.
Hey, Juliet, want to go for a swim?
After you.
Okay.
You think...
Go my ring of breathing and walk into the water and look around.
Okay, so you put on the ring and you walk down into the water, and it is really, really cold. Are you getting underneath it?
Yeah, looking in the river, seeing what's going on.
Okay, so you get down in it, and it's kind of this gentle slope, and then about 10 feet out from the shore, you're going to see a pretty steep drop-off. Not all the light from the sun is getting down there, so you can't really see the bottom of it, so you think it's probably pretty deep, but it is extremely cold water. You think if you're down here for very long, you are going to start going into hypothermia.
But I don't see anything going on.
You see some fish swimming around, some trout.
I'll walk back out, saying, river looks normal. Probably just the mountains through the streams, winter. You know, it's cold.
And you're shivering as you say this.
Come on, Alunodas, put on a blanket, dry yourself off, and I guess we'll get going.
Yep, let's head down toward Farish.
Okay, so you dry off and you get the horses together, and you're traveling down through this strip of like rocky bank of this river, which is kind of like sandstone-ish with some mud, as it appears to have rained here recently, but it's not causing a lot of problems for your travel. After about an hour in your journey southeast here, you are going to see some smoke rising to your southeast along the shore.
You mean southwest?
Or southwest, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So you're going to travel for probably another hour, and you are going to come across this hamlet that you're going to see some kind of like, not houses, but shacks that, look like they were, built at some point as shelters, and they've kind of expanded on them over the years. They're nothing fancy. You see probably about 20 of these. You are going to see some horses and some people working on nets and some boats along the river that they have, not really a dock, but some posts that have been put into the shore here that they've tied their boats to. Looking around, are you getting closer to this hamlet?
Juliet is gonna cast Disguise Self, and just in case, because take the image of a nice elf lady, the one that she had used previously in I forget which town.
Okay.
Marsh? Asheville?
Yeah.
Anybody else doing anything? Or are you just approaching the village?
Talia will take on the appearance of a teenage boy again.
So, are you approaching the hamlet here?
Yeah.
Alright, so you get about 50 yards from it. You are going to see that it appears to be mostly men here. You're going to see maybe a couple of women. They appear to live a pretty hard life. They are definitely not dressed well. They kind of look like frontiers people. You are going to see closest to you 2 human men working on some nets, and a dwarf that appears to be working on a boat.
Are we talking like, fishing boat, or are we talking Noah's Ark here?
This looks, what he's working on looks kind of like a flat riverboat that is maybe 20 feet by 6 feet. It appears to be a flat bottom boat.
That would be perfect for us.
Yeah.
I would like to approach the dwarf working on the boat.
Okay. So they see you approach, and all 3 of them stand up. One of the humans is going to look at you, Alexander. What's your business?
We were trying to find a way across the river. We were wondering if you knew of any services that could ferry us across.
My friend here has got a boat. Doesn't do much ferrying. And the dwarf's going to speak up and say, I might be able to take you across the river for a price. Don't know I can take all of you, though.
We don't need us all at once. We have a couple of horses and a carriage, if that's possible. If not, we can continue on our way.
He eyes you up and down, and then looks at the group and says, is this all of you?
I do a mental head counts, and then given that all of us are here, I will tell him yes, that is all of us.
Well, I'm just one man, and I've got a sizable boat over here, but I'll need some strong arms to help me get across. You're going to have to help.
Yeah, we can do that.
We are all very strong. Except only one of us is.
He looks at you as you say that, and he looks you up and down and just chuckles. Whatever you say, Elf. He's going to look at you and do some mental calculations and says, well, probably take maybe 3 trips to get you all across. It's going to take a lot of my day.
Well, we'll take the fox and the cabbage first. It won't be a problem.
What the hell are you talking about, Elf?
Joke.
I don't get it.
That's fine. We'll take the trip across. We're willing to pay you for your time.
Oh yeah, of course you'll pay. I don't do anything for free.
And we don't expect you to.
So he takes a moment longer and eyes you up and down. So, 3 trips across the river, ferrying you all back and forth. See, 40 gold.
Sounds reasonable to me. What do you think about that, Juliet?
I think it sounds plenty reasonable. Exactly how long would it take to get across for all of us?
Yeah, it depends on how many of you are helping. It's a wide river, but if I was just doing by myself, probably 20 minutes each way.
We are all more than willing to help where we can, although I don't believe any of us are experienced sailors of any kind.
I don't need you to navigate. I just need your arm to push an oar.
Sure, we can absolutely do that.
All right. And he points over to this shack, and he says, grab an oar. Get your horses ready to move. And you look over, and there's this shack probably about 15 feet behind him. There apparently is some fishing nets here, some buckets, and 4 oars that currently aren't being used.
Perfect. Juliet takes an oar.
Before we get started, I'd see the color of your gold.
It's gold.
Take out the 40 gold pieces and give it to him.
All right. And he takes the money and puts it in a purse at his side. You see him go over to the raft and start tying it down to another pole to steady it so you can get the horses on it. And he says, we'll leave whenever you're ready.
We're ready now. Who wants to go first? I suggest we have a group go first, then we'll bring the carriage over and the horses, and then we'll bring the rest of us so that way we can protect the carriage at all times.
I think that I and Juliet should go over first.
I completely agree with that idea.
Okay.
You load your horses on, and there's probably room for one more. And Nifron's going to move his horse onto the platform too, or onto the boat. Are you guys grabbing oars?
Juliet already has one.
Sure, I'll grab one.
Nifron does not. So you load onto the boat, and this dwarf is going to unlash the ropes to the moorings and takes this long pole and pushes the boat out to the river. As soon as you're off this mooring, you're going to see this the boat start to, the current pick it up. But after about 10 minutes, with all of you rowing, you're able to make it to the shore, to the northwest of you. You unload, and he's kind of put this boat up on the shore here to steady it, and then he pushes back off and makes his way over to the other side of the shore. So, who's going next?
I'll go. I might have to go by myself, but we're taking the cart.
Yeah, so you load it on there, and there's not much room for anything else, and the dwarf's going to look at you and say, I guess it's just you and me. Grab an oar, elf.
Pick up and...
So you push off. You guys make it over to the other side. So who's left? Just Alexander?
Yep.
He comes over, picks you up. You guys are able to make it to the other side of the shore. And he drops you off. and says, good doing business with you. What a warning, though. I don't know where you're going, but to the north, there's trouble with them elves. Keep your head low.
I'm sure we'll find a way. Thanks for the tip.
Thank you, Master Dwarf.
And he's just going to post off back out to the river and make his way over to the other side. So currently, you are going to find yourself where I'm pinging on the map here. You are probably maybe an hour or two southwest of Pirn.
I guess our first order of business is to go to Pirn then. We have nothing else other than it is kind of disturbing to hear elves having trouble.
I mean, but he is a dwarf, so I'd take that with a grain of salt.
Alunodas, have you had a discussion with the rest of the party about what Lagermouse told you?
I have not, I don't think. So I'll go ahead and sit down and tell them, well, as we travel, actually before we start the travel, I'll tell them that the Wood Elves and the so-called High Elves have been arguing over access to the Fae. The High Elves, probably because of troubles caused by ruin access followers, have shut off access to the Fae, which is where elves go for their adulthood rituals, and the Wood Elves are very unhappy about it. So that is the conflict taking place between the elves.
I mean, I don't think it really involves us, yeah?
Well, we're traveling through woods toward Feydale. We're going to be encountering elves of various kinds.
I mean, that's reasonable. Hopefully they don't mistake you for one of the opposition.
Alunodas would also know from that conversation that the Wood Elves have been attacking people indiscriminately moving through their territory.
I forgot about that. I will pass that along as well.
Well, if they start it, we'll finish it.
There are a lot more of them than there are of us.
What do you suggest that we do?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're still intelligent beings. We can negotiate with them in some way, I'm sure. And you're an elf. You should have some clout.
I'm from the monastery.
But you're still an elf. They'll recognize you. They'll see you as kindred.
They might see me as the wrong kind of elf. We're not all the same, Juliet.
Yeah, that's pretty racist, Juliet.
I don't know. There have been plenty of comments on things like my weight and my strength and my scale color. I think I'm being pretty generous here.
Reasonable. Should we just go around Pirn or just try our way through?
Well, I mean, we have to go through Pirn. I don't think we can survive in the wilds too much longer. How many supplies do we have?
No, we got over that dried fish.
You did resupply in Hollis Point, too.
Yeah, Jared, or whatever his name is, gave us lots of food.
Oh, that's right.
But it might be best for us to make our way to Pirn, and then from there to Lullin, and then try to find out the best way to get up to Feydale without getting ambushed by elves.
I mean, just a little north, there is Feydale. Maybe they would have bigger roads heading to Feydale?
Probably.
Or elves don't really like roads and stuff, though.
I mean, you might not like roads, but our cart does.
True. Do I know anything about this area, Kevin? I mean, I'm from a monastery pretty much northwest of Feydale, and we're pretty isolated. I don't know how much I would know about the geography or the politics of this area.
Well, let's find out. Give me a history check.
Dang. That's
Talia apparently knows everything.
Double
They're keeping up with their studies.
That's like 4 crits in a row. I've asked you to make 2 rolls in this episode so far, and it's just crit. All right, so
Gotta crit when it matters.
Alunodas, you would actually know quite a bit about this area. You would know that Pirn is a wood elf trading port, and they're a timber exporter. Being on this side of the river, they trade with a lot of people to the north, the south, basically everybody in this region. Anybody who would be wanting wood, or people coming through the woods to trade in furs, even magical creatures that they've found in the woods that they're selling components from them, be it blood or teeth or claws. You would also know that in this region that not exactly xenophobic, in the best of times, they're not very welcoming of like strangers coming through this area in general. You would know that the elves in this area kind of consider these woods not exactly sacred, but protected. You would pretty much know just about every city here. Is anything in particular you want to know?
Basically, what would be the best way to get to Feydale? I mean, is there a good path that we can take, hopefully negotiating with the Wood Elves, if we can, in order to travel to Feydale?
You would know if you were trying to negotiate with the Wood Elves that they don't exactly have like a king or, you know, leadership, but there is kind of a council that would be overseeing some of like the movements of trade here, and not exactly, I wouldn't say leadership because they're kind of all spread out, not exactly, you know, like anarchists, but if you were trying to get advice from someone or, you know, talk to the respected people in this area, it would probably be in Lullin.
Okay, I'll go ahead and pass that along. Lullin is probably where we should head next to try and find a way further north to Feydale.
Okay, that
But we should be
sounds good to
careful.
me.
The elves really love their trees. The Wood Elves do, anyway.
I'm glad you caught that self-racism there. That's very progressive of you. Okay, so we'll head to Pirn, then we'll find a way up to Lullin. I assume going by river is probably the best way, but I don't know if the river goes how it flows, so we might have to go across the river and then just head up by wagon.
Alunodas would know that the river flows down from these hills and forests and the tributaries out to the river.
So Lullin's upstream.
Okay, perfect. So we will head to Pirn, right? Pirn, not Pirn, like I just said.
Pirn. So you're going to travel for probably about 4 hours. You're going to see some smoke rising to your northeast. About this time, the sun is starting to go down. It's not exactly dusk yet, but you think it's probably about an hour until it reaches that. Before you are going to see a town of maybe 100 or so houses. As you reach the outskirts of it, you are going to see some clear-cut forests and some lumber mills outside of town. As you pass that, you are going to start reaching the town proper, where you see muddy dirt streets here that go through town. As you go through, you are going to notice that most of the people out on the street here are elves, and while not outright hostile, you're getting some chilly looks from people as you walk through town.
Okay, everyone play it cool.
Oh, the old be cool.
It's easy up in the north, because it's cold up here.
Oh my god, Alunodas made a joke.
Say what? No, it's just cold up here.
Alright, so maybe we should find, I don't know, someone, maybe like a store to resupply? Well, I guess, what are we doing here other than passing through?
Maybe crossing the river. There might be a bridge here at Pirn to get to the north side of this little tributary.
That would be nice.
Yeah, or some sort of fishing community that might be able to ferry us across.
Again. So what do we see? Do we see anything like that?
Give me a perception check.
Good old 10.
Technically passive of 14. It's 16 for me.
We are making active checks, so those do not matter.
Alunodas, with your 16, you are going to see up the street. And this isn't a very large town. There's probably only, a quarter mile between one side of the town to the other side. You are going to see, while not exactly a queue, a couple of wagons that are lined up toward the north side. And it appears that they are going over a high arcing bridge that goes over this large stream that is a tributary into this river.
Look, a bridge. We don't have to go on boats to get across. Alunodas points.
I guess we'll just cross the bridge, yeah?
But for some reason, there's a line.
As you get closer, you're seeing these carts move across, and on either side of this bridge, there are 2 half-elves armed with spears. They see you approach, and they're going to start walking toward you.
We stop the cart, and Juliet is going to wave to them with a friendly smile.
I will start walking forward to meet them.
Okay. You get within probably about 10 feet, and one of the half-elves is going to walk out in front of you and say, "Well, that's far enough. What business you got here in Pirn?"
We're just passing through trying to get up north.
"Yeah? What business you got up north? Don't have many travelers like you these days."
We're just adventurers trying to get to Feydale for more work.
"Huh. What work you got in Feydale?"
Adventuring?
Oh, well, we've heard a lot of troubles from around this area in general, and we're seeing if there's anything we can do to help out or, just really just help out the situation and get to know the place. We've never been here before, so it's all unfamiliar and new and adventurous for us.
"Well, that depends on what side you're on now. Sounds like you're going to Feydale. You might be on the wrong side of things, as far as I see."
What sides are you talking about, sir? I'd heard there was some conflict between the elves, but I thought they were coexisting peacefully. Isn't that what people normally do?
Damn snooty high elves up there, they shut off access to the Fae. I don't know exactly that I should be letting somebody go through here. Gonna be up at Feydale, try to help them snooty bastards out.
Well, like I said, we're trying to help out everyone, so... if you have any grievances, we could certainly present them up there.
How far grievances gotta go back?
Oh, it's been a storied history? I was under the impression it was recent.
Well, I ain't gonna air the family laundry out in front of yous.
That's reasonable. Although we are going up to Feydale, we are on your guys' side. I think it's definitely not right that they have restricted access to the Fae to your side. I would like
right,
to roll a
it
deception
ain't.
check.
Yeah, give me a persuasion check.
You mean deception?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
16.
So he eyes you up and down and he says, "Well, what exactly you gonna do for us?"
We will, whenever we go up there, Miss Ness, we will abstain from taking anything that those snooty ass high elves are gonna put in our way.
I'm not sure exactly what that means, mister.
It means that we're not gonna take jobs from them.
Why you going Feydale in first place?
Awkward eyes at Juliet.
Excuse me, sir. What's your name again? I didn't catch it. Mine is Juliet.
I didn't give it, stranger.
I just wanted to be very hospitable. Maybe there's something we can do for you to show our goodwill.
Look, lizard lady, I'm about off my shift, and to be honest, I don't give a shit what's going on up here, so tell you what, you give me 20 gold pieces, I'll just let you cross. Pretend this never happened.
How does 15 work for you?
How's 30 work for you? And at that time, you're going to see this other elf come up and grab his spear and put it in 2 hands. You're kind of getting the feeling that you're being shut down right now.
I think if this goes on any further, I think it's going to turn out worse for you than me. 24 on intimidation.
35 gold pieces.
Even with the 24 on intimidation? Yikes.
Oh, I didn't see that intimidation check. You say that, and he's like, all right. 20 gold. 10, I never saw you.
Sure. I hand him 20 gold.
So you give him the money, and he does this mocking bow as he lowers his spear and raises or points his hand to the bridge, as in, go on.
I motion for everyone to follow and start crossing the bridge.
I think that went well.
Yeah, Juliet definitely sticks her tongue out at him from when he's not looking.
You turn around to do that, and you see him flipping you off.
Nice. Lizard lady. Oh my god.
See, what I had wanted to say, but Shane was doing a great job of actually negotiating. What I had wanted to say was, how about you don't charge us anything, Cletus, and we'll let you keep your teeth?
What's left?
But see, that coming from a 12-year-old,
Yeah.
mean jack shit.
Until she starts pulling out all of her
let's-
knives.
Well,
And
my
your sword
intimidation
starts
would be.
flying.
Yeah, no, he would have thought I was adorable.
That was an investigation check, but yeah.
Oh, you're right. Hold on. Nope, still adorable.
Yeah, your intimidation roll is no better than your investigation.
I was tempted to use Charm Person, but I didn't want to get him too mad at us, and you guys seem to be handling it.
Also,
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
did
sure
not
how
seem
well
to
that
be
works
taking-
on elves.
He did not seem to be taking no for an answer. Like our wussy excuses.
Granted, we have no business up there.
We
Not
don't.
legitimate.
Exactly.
We're north of the river. Let's make our way up to Lullin. And while we're traveling, what is our cover story? Should we just go ahead and say that we are here to spy on Feydale for Carnley?
That sounds
Or
like
we
taking
can just say we're
side.
adventuring.
I thought we were sticking with the whole merchants or traveling entertainers thing, but I guess not.
Yeah, but the Wood Elves are really hostile to Feydale. So if we indicate that we're hostile to Feydale, it'll make it easier for us to get through the woods to Feydale.
That's fair. I don't know how much people trust spies, but I will leave the talking up to you guys if you want to make a cover story like that.
I think being adventurers is reasonable enough. I mean, because if we make it sound like we're really on their side, they might ask us to do something unreasonable.
Let's just say we're thieves, looking to rob tombs.
I don't think that's a real good cover story at all. I think that's just naturally frowned upon in every culture.
But if we're robbing the high elves, they might like it.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. You know, I'm just gonna put that out there. I mean, we look like adventurers. We have things. We have weapons like adventurers. Who's to say that we aren't adventurers going up there?
What was it that you told the...
That we were adventurers. Heading up there to resolve issues and help out.
No, there was like a specific thing that you told, like after you killed the paladin and you were on your way to Hollis Point, you met that group of adventurers that were taking...
Historians, I think it was.
They were taking the Manicore to Carnley.
Oh, right. Someone else did the talking for that, I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember.
Anyway, that's probably something you need to figure out, like, right now.
I vote for pulling up as adventurers. What say ye?
But what are we going
Adventurers.
to Feydale for?
Adventures. Add revenue.
Experiencing different cultures.
Humanitarian efforts.
Grinding wolves.
We need something that will make them want to speed us on our way or just ignore us. And I don't know that adventures by itself will be enough to make them ignore us.
May I make a... Would it be a history check? A knowledge check to see if I know of, like, surrounding issues of Feydale besides the issues with the elves.
Give me a history check.
8.
Basically, the only thing that you know is what Alunodas has conveyed to you that he learned from Lagermouse.
Is there any... Guys, do you know of anything that that's happening around here that we might be able to use as a guise?
Maybe we need to get into the Feydale, or into the Fey, the Shadow Wild, whatever it is.
It'd be the Feywild.
The Feywild, there we go. And thus, our fight to get into the Feywild is sort of aligned with their desire to be able to get into the Feywild.
Alunodas. That sounds like something that you could be an expert on. You're coming of age, and you need to go to the Feywild. And
that sounds like an excellent idea. So I have been traveling with you to learn about the world. Coming of age, I need to go into the Feywild. Thus, my fight is their fight.
and we're getting married.
And
Let's not do that part, I guess.
Oh, yikes.
I don't know, I thought that was kind of a theme that we were going with, but I guess coming of age, maybe that's not the best idea.
I think the coming of age makes sense. I was just making a joke on how you suggested it, and he was like, eh.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can't get married.
That's what I was going.
Or you can't get married until you prove yourself an adult.
Yeah, there you go.
KKK.
You know, that seems like a perfect idea.
Shame we don't know anything about the Feywild, so we can describe what you're supposed to do there. We can research it.
So, what exactly is the coming of age ceremony, Alunodas?
I just rolled a history check because, I, as a member of the monastery, wouldn't have had to do anything to do with that, but I might have learned about it at the monastery. Kevin?
So with an 18, although you haven't been a part of this kind of, not like warrior culture, but it's kind of like an ascension to
Elven
manhood.
society in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, kind of. So you would know that there is this coming of age that happens with elves who reach around 80 years old, that they go to the Feywild in this region to test their knowledge, their cunning, their strength of being able to put all this stuff together, prove that they are able to be a useful part of their societies. You would know it requires as much survival skills as it is knowledge and reasoning, but you don't know exactly what those challenges would be once you get to the Feywild.
So it's a test of survival in the Feywild of some kind.
How old are
Coming
you?
of age.
That's not a very polite question to ask.
They live
I
for
am
like
about-
forever.
I'm about 3 or 4 times older than the normal person going through there.
You would also know that while there is some weakening between the planes here, there is what they call the Feygate, that is basically a portal between the prime material and the Feywild, somewhere to the southeast of Feydale. But you don't know exactly where it is.
So should we play it off as so you're trying to do your coming of age ceremony? Maybe we could convince those pesky Wood Elves to let you into the Feywilds and go in.
The Wood Elves don't have control over that. The High Elves and Feydale are the ones
High
who have
Elves,
control
my
of
bad.
the gate.
Maybe something even more simple. The story is that you're trying to marry Juliet. What if you're just trying to get permission from the council or something, like some governing body?
I am a rogue high elf on my way to challenge my family or something.
Sure?
I don't know. I think
Fine
the
to me.
coming of age thing, so long as nobody looks too close at my age lines, notices I'm like a 35-year-old trying to go through a bar mitzvah, then I think that would probably be the simplest.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable enough. So I guess we're on our way to Lullin.
Okay, so you make it to the other side of the bridge here, and Alunodas would know from this point that Lullin would be to the northwest. At this point, by the time you make it over the bridge, there is a path that runs along the river. To the north of you is this heavily wooded area. At this point, the sun is just about ready to go down, so if you're going to make camp, it's probably the time to do it, unless you're going to try to press through all night and try to make it to Lullin in the morning.
I think we should camp.
Yeah, let's camp.
Yep.
Okay, so you camp for the night. Don't really run into any issues. You hear some wildlife in the woods. Go ahead.
Can I spend 3 hours trying to train Abbott?
Yeah. What are you trying to train him to do?
I want to train him a command that'll make him go back to the cart.
Okay. Give me a animal handling check.
18.
So, yeah, after about an hour, you think he's got it.
Cool. Okay, so if I'm spending a couple hours, can I try to train him something else?
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me, I would like to cut in here for a moment. I would like to start playing the flute and give her bardic inspiration.
Nice.
You're the best.
Inspired!
Alright, then the next thing I would like to try to finish teaching him, since he only kind of knows it, is come.
Okay. Give me a animal handling check. That's a
I will
crit.
not be using my bardic inspiration on that one.
So, you're spending this time doing this, and Alexander's playing the flute, and Abbott kind of gets distracted a couple times, but this, you think he's got pretty solid.
And then I'd like to train one more time. Like, I'll just take the first shift of watch and continue training him for one more to try to train him to sit.
I will bardically inspire again.
That carries over. You don't have to do it again.
Oh, I thought it only lasts for 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Or like something like that. It's a short time frame.
Alright. And then, how do I use my bardic inspiration again? Because I'm dumb.
Should be 1d6 at this level, right?
So 15.
Yeah, you think he's got that.
Cool. And then I assume by that point my shift will be over and I'll go to bed.
Yep.
It's actually a D8 at this level.
I'm
She
pretty sure
passed
it's
anyway.
still only a D6.
It becomes a D8 at 5th level, D10 at 10th, 12th, D12 at 15th, and it lasts 10 minutes.
Then it would have been an 18.
Yeah, it's still plenty high enough. Is there anything anyone else wants to do? Juliet, do you want to look through any books? I know you were looking through the ledgers about the organization of the Vanguard.
Yes, I'd like to take another crack at figuring out any key details of it, because I didn't do a very good job, and I'm willing to bet my next roll will probably also be the same, but I'm going to try anyway, because if history has told me anything, failing once is not the end of the world, but failing every single time probably is, so let's keep failing.
So I'm going to say that probably over the course of the past couple of days, you've been spending a little time each night looking at this, so give me an investigation check with advantage.
Oh my god, something above a 10, a 17, which I guess is a 19.
Mm-hmm.
Give me so with advantage would have been 6. So with 19, yeah, you're starting to actually start piecing the connections together here. And if you look at this chart right here, you are able to start getting all the names together and the connections that they have to each other through the correspondences and different ledgers where you're seeing the connections. So
Interesting.
it appears at the top of this organizational chart that you're seeing, you are just seeing the initials KF, and it appears that this correspondence is being sent to a KF in Marilesh. Towards the top of this organization, below this person that people are reporting to, is Uriel Tabash and Liskane, or U Kopesh in Kopesh, or Ori Kapashi, in Kapesh. Below them, you're seeing Grad Mage Pharrell in Carnley, and then a Leah Aerith in Gresson, and a Petrie Rhine in Marilesh. Below them, you're seeing a Hera Killamalde in Elson, and then a Damal Silverwind in River Run, a Barrow Tamalde in Northhold, a Damon Jull in Mountain Hold, and then below them you're seeing a Erelesh Demold in Sunshire, a Fall Curran in Dornmoth, And then someone who you've become familiar with is Orin the Companion, who seems to have connections to and correspondence with all these people.
Huh. All right.
And then, hold on just a second. So from what you can understand is this Uriel is the master of spies. This Kopeshi is actually the Prince of Kopesh. Grand Mage Forel, which you've heard of before, is the Grand Mage in the Isle of Insight. This Leah Arath and Gresson is the Marshal General there. The Petri Rhine is the Master of Trade. The Hera Himalde and Elson is a shipping magnate. The Demol Silverwind and Riverrun is a merchant. Barrow Tamalde is a merchant in Northold. Damon Jill is a mining magnate. Iralesh Demold is a court wizard in Sunshire. And Falk Hurin is a priest of Avandra. And then, of course, Orin the Companion is one of the companions. And I'll put that all in a document where you can see.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And that's about all you can do for that night. And this is like the culmination of everything you've been researching over the past, few days and weeks. You're making your notes, and then tonight, all of it finally comes together as far as like the organizational chart's concerned, and who these people are and where they are.
So does anyone else want to do anything?
I'm good.
I'm fine. I don't have anything to do.
All right, so I guess everybody settles down for the night and takes their rest, and you get up the next morning and continue on your way. So you make your way towards Lullin, and you're going to travel to probably about noon. And everybody give me a perception check.
My little eye.
All right, so you travel along this path by the river. It kind of widens out, and you've got some trees on your left and your trees on your right. Out of nowhere, up in front of you, you are going to see 3 Wood Elves appear in a clearing in front of you. And you are going to see arrows spring up in front of your path, probably about 5 feet in front of the person up in front. And you're going to see 3 elves dressed in brown leathers holding bows up in front, probably about 50 feet in front of you. And then a tall elf in the middle knocks another arrow, but his bow is low, and he holds up his hand for you to stop.
All right, we stop suddenly, and I'm sure the horses whinny and complain, but...
I was going to shout, good morning.
This tall elf's going to turn to his companions here and say, "Well, butter my way, bread fellas. Who do we have here? Some interlopers coming into our wood. What y'all doing here? Y'all should know this ain't the time nor place for strangers to be conveying up here in these woods. I'll hear you answer before we turn y'all into porcupines."
We're making our way up north to try and get our friend here access to the face so he can do his coming of age ceremony.
Huh, is that so? Well, you should know ain't nobody going on up there. Them damn high elves got it blocked up, surrounded, guarded. Ain't nobody going in up there.
I'm sure we can talk him out of it.
Yeah, good luck with that. Ain't nothing short of air gonna be talking him out of that. Who's your friend you talking about here? And then he gives a look along your party and sees Alunodas up in the cart. Surely you ain't talking about that old man up there.
I've been away for a while.
Seems like it. What you doing up in here? You been out in the world? You don't hold our kin the ways no more.
Well, if you want to get married, then you have to be an adult.
Yeah, you should took care of that a long time ago. Your parents should told you that.
I don't like them very much. They live too close to Feydale. They're jerks.
You about got the look of high elf to me, boy. Got them high cheekbones.
I'm a wood elf. I just don't like Feydale.
Well, you should know ain't nobody coming through here. I'd say just turn around and go wherever you come back to. You ain't gonna get nothing but trouble up here.
We can deal with trouble, but we're going up there.
Not if I got anything to say about it, boy. And he is going to pull his bow up, and you'll see the other two elves beside him pull their bows. Give me a perception check.
Crit.
As they raise their bows, you are going to hear some noises in the woods, and you look around, and you are starting to see some wood elves surrounding you, basically. By your count, you probably think there's at least 24 wood elves in the woods in these tree lines here.
Talia's gonna speak up and say, look, we're not looking for trouble. What
Trouble's found you, little girl. Give me one good reason why we shouldn't light you up right now.
How much gold do you want?
I ain't interested in no gold.
Not even 1,000?
That gives him pause. 1,000 gold, you say?
If it'll get us through these woods safely for the rest of our journey, yeah, 1,000 gold.
I can't promise that. I can promise we might let you go. But you gotta understand, it ain't safe to be out in these woods right now. I mean, if not us, them damn high elves out there.
I think you've got a misunderstanding there, Wood Elf. If you unlatch those arrows right now, I think you misunderstand which side of ours is going to be winning here. I would like to roll an intimidation check.
Okay.
Talia's gonna look at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's too many of them.
14.
Yeah.
So you say that, this tall wood elf is going to look at you seriously for a moment, and then he's just going to start laughing, and then these other two elves are going to start laughing, and then you're going to start hearing laughter out in the woods as these other wood elves that are currently surrounding you start chuckling as well.
They just gave away their location. We know where they all are now. Put them on the map.
This tall wood elf's going to say, human, I don't think you're in any position to be making threats to me. Just when I was starting to get to like a little girl with her gold.
I am rather adorable, and I can continue to be adorable if we can come to some kind of understanding.
All I understand right now is you trying to move up through our woods, and like I said, it ain't safe. As far as I'm concerned, y'all could just turn around and go back wherever you went to.
Is there a safe way to Feydale from here?
I don't know there's any safe way for anybody through here right now, much less wood elves or high elves.
I mean, I wouldn't...
That's our problem, I think.
Well, I think your problem, you just met it. Look, I'm under orders. Personally, I don't care what the hell y'all people do. But...
Orders from who?
Well, from my chief.
Can we talk to him?
Well,
I promise that my group won't try to cause any trouble if you just take us to him so that we can talk to him.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh dear. Oh, she has high persuasion. I forgot about that.
14.
He looks at you for a minute and says, I don't know. I mean, not that you're much of a threat, but y'all are all heavily armed, and I don't know how well Colin would be taken to me bringing you strangers up in Lullin.
What if we promise to leave our arms in the cart? Just us.
He considers for a moment. Give me another persuasion check.
15.
Well, maybe we could come to some sort of deal. So you give me 100 gold, I'll take you up to Lullin.
I feel like that's very reasonable, sir.
So, he's gonna nod. I hope you have to understand, I can't let an armed party up in Lullin, so you're gonna have to hand over your weapons.
I don't think we're gonna hand them over, but we'll put them in the cart and let your men draw the cart. There's kind of a lot of weapons.
Alright.
And then Talia's she's not gonna take the ones out of her sleeves, just yet, but she's gonna start taking all of her daggers out of their various hiding places.
Okay. Is anybody else disarming and putting their weapons in the cart?
Absolutely.
I just drive the cart.
I guess. Yeah.
That tall wood elf's going to say, well, I'm going to have one of my men drive the cart. You can have your elf over there double up on one of your horses, or he can walk, but we're not going to let you have access to your weapons till we get this all sorted out.
We still have an extra horse. We've never gotten rid of Chimney.
All right, on Chimney.
You jump up on Chimney, and one of these elves gets in the cart and pushes it forward, and you're going to see these elves move into the woods and jump on horses, and then behind you you're going to see probably about 24 elves on horses come out of the woods. So yeah, you were completely surrounded and outnumbered. You're traveling, and this elf is going to come up beside you, Alunodas, and he moves his horse up to you and says, you got to understand, there's no hard feelings. We're just in a heightened state right now. I mean, there's been a lot of conflict been going on between us and high elves up there because they've been taking over the Feydale. My name's Bellin, by the way. Who are you?
I'm Luno, and I get it. High elves are bastards, killer bastards with a criminal bastard thing.
He says, you code switching on me, boy.
I've been away from home for a long time. They don't like that sort of places.
Well, ain't that the truth? Look, see, I understand your situation. I got a boy myself. He been trying to be a man for a little bit now, but he can't get up there to prove himself at the Feydale. So, I mean, I know what you're going through. I mean, that's the only reason why I'm bringing you all up to Lullin in the first place. Now, mind you, all I can do is introduce you to the chief. You know, where it goes from there is up to him, and even then, I mean, you're going to be on your own.
I do appreciate it.
So, about another hour goes along, and you're going to make it up to Lullin, and there is a river here or stream, I guess you would say, to your left as you approach this village up here. This appears to be a much larger village. There's probably about 300 homes that you see that are pretty well built. They are kind of log cabin homes. You walk through the streets here and you're kind of getting, you know, the eyeball with having this escort of these other elves, but, you know, nothing is outright hostile until you come to this large wooden log home in the center of the town. From there, Bellin's going to motion for all of you to dismount, and the guard of elves come up behind you, and they form kind of like a semicircle around you and this large wood home. And at this point, there's been a kind of large gathering of all the townsfolk that are seeing this display of people being led up the street that, you know, for the most part, kind of odd races to them that they haven't seen in a while, being humans and Dragonborn. Bellin is going to say, y'all wait here. I'm going to go in real quick. I want to talk to Colin, see if he can talk to you. And he walks into the log home, or this log building. He's in there for probably about 5 minutes. And he comes back out. He says, well, Colin will see you. And motions you to come into the building.
All right, we head on in.
You walk up, and there's like this log building is elevated, and you walk up 3 steps, and you walk inside, and it's kind of like this open space that has some fire pits in the middle that smoke's rising out of them to the outside in the ceiling. Inside is kind of roughly furnished with some oil lamps and some crude chairs with furs on it. And at the top of the hall here, you are going to see large grizzled elf, large for an elf, I mean very muscular, who is sitting at a table. He's dressed in this black leather armor, and has a long sword at his back, and he's talking in low tones to 3 other elves that are at this table. As he sees you come in, he looks up and things get quiet, and I think that's probably a pretty good place to end it right there. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. If I could ask a halfling-sized favor, give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's the best way to support us. New episodes come out every Monday, so make sure to check your podcast app. Do you have an idea to make the podcast better? Tell us about it on Twitter or Facebook. You can also check out our website to see all the maps, lore, and characters at dungeonsanddebacklespodcast.com. And now a word from our fantasy sponsor.
The hammer gets you what they owe. Have you or a loved one who is a practitioner of the magical arts been injured by lead-based ink? I'm Hamish the Hammer, and I can get you the gold you deserve. I'm a wizard, and I need nimble fingers and a sharp mind. Lead ink took that from me. There was no warning of the side effects of lead on the bottle, and someone must be held responsible. Going to the town guard or petitioning the leader of your village takes too long when you need gold now. My professional team of negotiators gets to the root of the problem and persuades them to do the right thing. I don't get paid unless you do. Send a raven with a message about your problem to Luscane, care of Hamish the Hammer, for a free consultation. The hammer gets you what they owe.
All right, so you make those changes. Who's playing cards on Roll20?
That is Shane. Alexander, put away the cards.
So
I don't know how to delete it.
I can't get rid of it now either.
He
What
might
have
have
we
to draw
learned?
through all the cards. Oh God, what are you guys doing?
Stop.
I don't
Stealing his
know.
cards.
I clicked on a random thing in the UI and I can't get rid of it.
Okay,
Everything's falling apart at the seams.
okay, we'll leave that for later.
So, how many months do you think it's been since I got Abbott?
I don't know.
Got
It's
him
gotta
back on
be
the Isle of Insight.
Just
be at least
after,
2.
just after the Isle of Insight.
In that case, let's see. We walked from Insight up to the place where we killed that dwarf. Then we crossed the desert on our way up to Ashmarsh. Made our way through the tomb. Then we made our way. It's been a couple months, I would think. So Abbott's probably.
That's
getting
what
biggish.
I'm thinking. Because if he is anywhere near 5 months old, 6 months old, something like that, he'd be 80 to 100 pounds.
And he's gonna start humping everything in sight.
Yeah, I need to get him somewhere to nip those suckers off.
Nah, leave him on there. He'll be more aggressive.
Fair enough.
And it's not
But
like
yeah,
there's
like-
a fantasy SPCA.
Like I get the feeling that we all think he's like this adorable tiny puppy, when in reality he's like bigger than my current dogs, which are full grown.
He's bigger than Talia, I think, at this point.
He does weigh more than Talia. If he's 5 months old, he weighs more than Talia at this point.
So he's some kind of mastiff, was it, or a wolfhound? I can't remember.
I wanted him to be a wolfhound, but they only have mastiffs in the game, so he's a mastiff. I don't know what kind of mastiff he is. I would love if he was a Tibetan mastiff or something similar. But I'm guessing probably like an English mastiff or a bull mastiff would probably be closer.
Well, I mean, only have mastiffs in the cabin can make him let you get whatever kind of dog he wants to let you get. I just can't remember what you settled on once upon a time. FYI, Juliet was about to learn the hard way that elves have advantage on saving throws against being charmed.
Oof, that is something I did not take into account.
Yeah, it probably would have turned out worse than me lightning bolting the Thunder Dragon.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
So we were just discussing, how long has it been since we got Abbott?
At this point, probably you've been on the road for maybe 3 months, I think. Could you
So he'd
spend
probably be about 5 months old?
that sounds about right.
Okay, so just so we know, and so that you can calculate it if we do get into a fight, as a mastiff, he'd be about 80 pounds.
Okay.
He is no longer a small dog.
We'll need to write
From
up some
Europe.
stats for him.
Not that I plan on getting him into a fight in any time soon, but God's forbid it does happen. I don't think that he'd have just a hit point at this point.
You may not have a choice in it if he decides to jump into a fight.
Yeah. While we're in town, I'm definitely going to do some more training with him.
We also got to get him armor.
We do have to get him. Can we get him? Okay. See, that's such a good
magic
idea.
teeth.
It would have to be magic armor though, so it could grow with him. Because I don't want to keep buying him armor every month.
You may have to buy that or enchant it.
Damn, for once, Mage Boy would have actually been useful.
Yeah, I kind of set that up that if you were looking for something, you could have done something like that if you spent enough time there.
But you didn't bring the cat staff to my attention until after we'd already left, jerk.
Oh, that's an artifact, man. You're not gonna...
Oh, so we can't just have 5 of them so that we can all wreak havoc as a clouder?
Are you high?
It would be so much fun.
Yeah, and then everybody listening to the podcast would be like, okay, well, this is off the fucking rails. I'm out.
Right. Fair.
What was that series starring all cats? Was it Warriors? There was some book series.
I know there was a Random Encounters from Drunks and Dragons that was The Secret Life of Cats. There was a podcast.
There were cats in the Redwall series.
That's true. Weren't they all evil, though?
No, there were lots of good cats. The bobcats are evil.
Oh, okay.
Or evil-ish. Anyway.
Which I gotta say, I didn't plan on you guys, coming up with your backstory, but I was like, yeah, Alunodas' backstory is actually probably gonna work.
Yeah.
Away for a while, had to learn how to talk like them low country folk.
You done code switch on them hillbillies. The music you heard in this episode was The Long Road Ahead, Folk Round, Water Prelude, Crowd Hammer, The Forest and the Trees, Private Reflection, Majestic Hills, and Village Consort by Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. CreativeCommons.org/licenses/by/3.0.